Up until last year, South Africa was the only African country that was a permanent member of the G20, an economic bloc that comprised 19 countries and the European Union, boasting about 85% of global GDP and 75% of global trade. But at the 2023 G20 Summit held in India, membership status was granted to the African Union, which represents 55 member states on the continent. Experts say this has given Africa a platform to bring global attention to its priorities, which have taken a back seat with international focus on the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine.
You're looking at advocating for reform in international financial institutions, enhancing agricultural outputs, achieving a just energy transition, more trade and investment for the African continental free trade area, especially in the rollout.
There are also lingering questions as to whether the G20 will back the African Union's agenda, especially if interests are not aligned.
The problem here is that we're joining the table, but the menu has been set up already for us. We're not deciding, we're not imposing the African priorities. We have to, before going into the G20, define for ourselves what is our economic agenda.
And with 54 countries on the continent, each with its own interests, there are doubts as to whether the AU can adopt a common position for its members on local and global issues.
It's hard to build an agenda based on this kind of consensus when countries are unable to trust who represents them.
Previously, the African Union attended the G20 as an invited international organization. Experts point out that by granting full membership to the AU, the G20 is alive to a growing push for a realignment of the current global order by several countries.
The G20 dominates the world economy and is being gradually challenged by the global majority, which is the global south, with the leadership of BRICS. BRICS is increasingly inviting key players in the global south, especially African countries.
The AU's success at this year's summit, then, may be measured by what commitments to action on its agenda it will receive from the G20. And while there will be a lot of pressure on the AU, there's a feeling out there that the continent's inclusion into this prestigious club could not have come at a better time. Next year, South Africa hosts the G20 Summit. Another core of its agenda is Africa's development. Bobat Nagela, CGTN, Nairobi, Kenya.